and move nameplates around. Space.
There's
So
Haspel here.
no, he actually has a shooting competition in the morning in Utah.
Hells yeah, dude.
We
You
could
can,
get
like-
a fourth if he gives us, like some notice, but
It's mostly me forgetting to ask him every week.
Ha.
okay.
It's mostly a me dropping the ball situation.
You can only do that so many times before the ball lands on your foot, Kenny.
Yeah.
I think
You don't want balls on your foot.
Nope.
I think Steven wanted me to say something about Cali Cup.
Oh yeah, we got.
Yeah,
I guess we also got to talk about LVO
Sure.
doubles sales.
Yeah.
Oh man, he'll get so pissy if we mention him in the same paragraph.
That's the news, dog.
I don't know. We just did the San Diego Classic, and they're like still have room for expansion. For Cali Cup, so they're just like, get some tickets, dude. Get them tickets.
We also have to sell our tickets
Yup.
to our thing,
Gross gotta eat.
which I forgot to mention
Uh-huh.
last week when they went the week they went live.
Yeah.
They sold pretty well, I think.
Mateo in chat, what's up, brother? Dark Horse. All right, and so we got.
Oh, let me get Restream up.
So we have Space of Leaks.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do
Is that what we're
Wyatt
doing?
was saying, secondary missions, secondary objectives, and all that. I
Yeah,
got a
these-
summary of it if you don't have one.
Okay, so we're just doing a leak
Just
cover.
have the pictures.
Okay, so it's more like a classic season 1 episode, just Adventure Time, going over leaks.
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah,
There's quite a bit out there. We can
Even
talk
if you
about
don't care
what
about-
isn't in the Space Wolf book too.
Oh yeah, it's dude. There was like this huge meme. So one of our guys, Ryan, it's been this like long running gag that he's like gonna wait for the new Space Wolves Codex. We can run like a whole army of the Hounds of Mordecai in like the Librarius detachment.
Hmm.
And I was just like, ooh, I hope they don't get legends, dude. And then like the book leaked the next week, and I was like, oh.
whoopsies.
Mm-hmm.
Job Patrick, what's up? All right, well, let's do classic season 1 Space Wolf leaks episode, free form after commercials.
Yeah, there's
Are we doing?
there's-
Are we doing one big commercial break in the middle, or are you splitting it up? Because you got two commercials now.
I've always
or-
I've always run them back to back in the middle. Do you want me to do
Okay.
2 breaks?
I mean,
That could be helpful. So like I was thinking that after news we do a quick thing on the Wolves, because like we don't have to cover like every single little, I mean people who care will look it up or buy the codex anyways. But like the
mhm.
wider audience is going to care more
Probably,
about the new
yeah.
mission decks. So like that's what
Yeah.
we should focus on.
Mission decks, meat and potatoes.
So we can talk about, I'll talk about like the one cool detachment and a lot of the cool things about the synergies of that detachment for Space Wolves, and then we can go into the cards.
Okay, so cards after break, or both, one detachment and cards after break.
Sure.
Okay, and as far as break goes, you want 2 breaks, Rob, or do you want 1?
I think 2 might be better. Like, do one after the Would You Rather, and then do one after the news, maybe, or after the news plus mini.
Okay. I think
meat
Would
and
You Rather.
potatoes.
I think Would You Rather's in the news. Makes
Okay.
sense. Okay,
Cool.
I'm
Let
ready.
me hold on a second. I need to grab more news. There's
Standing
been
by.
quite a bit.
Ted Nerve in chat. What's up? That's one cool cat.
Been quite a bit, actually.
Oh man, let me show you guys this poster that I won.
For the best hobbies,
Best painted.
#1 best hobby in the hood.
I like yours better.
So I got this huge poster. Oh, it's taped up. Oh, I'm gonna tape it.
Ian 928. What's up? Thug Life. waiting for the great reveal of this
I
super
know.
dope poster.
Oh, allocations. Yeah. Hmm. Cute.
Yeah, dude. This tape is. There we go. Wow.
Andy Freelancer, what's up, man?
Look at this thing.
Oh shit, that thing slaps, bro.
Oh,
Lower it,
wow.
It's like-
lower,
What's
lower
the
it.
best painted?
poster.
Yeah, what's the art? Oh, Ulthway.
Yeah, there it is.
Cool.
Right?
That's fresh.
And then I got this other cool thing they gave out, which I think is a neat little. I like useful things for prizes. They got this. This is like, I think it's supposed to be like a really, really soft beach towel.
Oh, it's one of
Oh,
those
wow.
towels that you can barely, that are barely a towel
But
that you can
It's
compress.
like so soft. You could use it as like a throw blanket.
Yeah.
Or something. It's like microfiber. It's,
Yeah.
It feels really nice.
Where you can put it. It's a huge towel that you can put in your backpack easily. I have one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the slate trophy right there.
With that one. That looks cool.
Dope.
Yeah, so like last year they did the big flags, and this year it was like posters and that kind of thing.
Just trying to see if I missed anything.
Oh no, wait, no, it's a different event. So last year the SD Classic was the one we did, and it was at the brewery. That was like the inaugural year. And so this time around, now it's like dope. And then the Cali Cup last year was where that's the big one, and then like they had the really cool flags for like every faction for faction awards and everything. And so that one's coming up in November, and it's going to be the even bigger one.
I support you making the monument logo as big as Fabricators Forge, Kenny.
Yeah, I just noticed it was imbalanced.
It could probably go up a little bit more too. I don't know if you already did. I'm lagging. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's about right. I think I got everything we're gonna talk about today. We talked about Monument Hobbies brushes last week, right? I can't remember. Yeah, we talked about them. The new synthetics. Yeah.
Yes. The price point.
Yeah, $5 a brush. Shut the front door.
Raising Rune Lords, he says, what's that thing clinging to Kenny's face? It looks like a good vet might be able to save it.
Raising Rune Lords knows.
I'll tell a
How did
story.
you?
I'll tell the story on the podcast about how I was forced to trim my beard this week.
How did hey raising Rune Lords? How did you come across sealed court documents? Out of curiosity.
The internet.
Supposedly they're sealed. Well, you're not supposed to share it. You can access them if you
People are though.
know where to get them. All right, I think I got it.
John
All right.
Patrick, I'm here for Kenny's old man wizard beard phase.
It is something.
We don't hear you, Wyatt.
When did I mute myself?
No idea. You were just you were
Did-
fine.
I
You
do it all
came,
the
you
time.
came back, said some stuff, and then you vanished.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Game over.
Trying to turn down these like lights, my wall mounted lights, and like even on the lowest setting, there's this huge glare, and I don't know why.
I put a little
Oh,
piece
okay,
of
no, it's that one. It's that one. Got
I
it,
took
got
a
it,
little
found it.
piece of paper and I made it, folded it, and made a little barn door, and I taped it to my camera so it blocks the light that's right there because mine was doing the same thing.
Okay, I think I figured it out. We'll just as
My
the
shit
sun goes
looks
down.
my shit looks like a homeless man made it.
Some people just want to skate uphill. All right. This is the Long War. I'm Rob Bear, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Hey, what's up?
I think chat brought up an interesting point today, Kenny. What kind of animal is on your face, by the way?
What? That's not even a question.
I'm just asking. Like, are we talking like squirrel?
I mean, obviously that's a badger pelt.
Oh, okay.
It's a
There we
fine badger pelt.
go. You know, if it was a Kolinsky sable or if it was a minx,
It would not
What-
work. You could not paint with this hair.
you could just like boink and then throw it on the brush.
It's bad. I go through gallons of oil just to keep it this smooth.
Well, whatever you're doing looks great. I'm secretly jealous.
So I'll tell my beards. So it finally happened. Do you guys remember when I started the beard? It was a bit because I was forced to shave my sideburns off and grow a beard to look presentable going into my anniversary and Christmas photos.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I acknowledge the sideburns might be stupid, but
Uh.
you haven't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
And then I grew that beard out, made it preposterous. And then after multiple sources of comments on photos on my ladies page of us together of things like famously from David's mouth, oh, I didn't realize you were dating a homeless man, and multiple others, it had reached a head. She was like, you gotta fucking do something with this. And she kept using the word embarrassing, and I kept saying like, "Oh, you're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing me." She's like, "I didn't say that shit." Then finally, I got her to say it. She's like, "You look ugly." I was like, that's all I ever wanted. I just wanted
Mhm.
just that admission. And then I looked up a beard trimming video and I trimmed it.
Yeah. Way more under control. Looks great. I don't know how you did it, dude. Like if mine gets like longer than about an inch, I'm just like, nah, cut it down, keep it close.
I made it for the memes, dog. It was.
I mean, I appreciate the the bit, keeping to it, committing to the bit, but I could not do that.
I've been shaving mine down for years.
yeah, Rob,
Sure, dude.
yours is amazing.
Thank you. I don't want people getting jealous of my sweet beard, so I just kind of
You just use like Acme hair removal tonic, but all it does is make your hair like invisible.
Mhm.
Doesn't
Yeah,
actually remove
It
it.
actually has a
Yeah.
full beard. You just can't see it.
Yeah.
It's just like your skin. It's transparent.
Mhm.
So okay, so we have Space Wolf leaks to cover tonight, which I guess is a return to old season 1 content, like a wacky old just classic Rick and Morty adventure. We're gonna go through and with our material source expert over here, we got Wyatt here. He's gonna cover some of the things you need to know, what the most important stuff is for tournament players moving forward. We're gonna cover that after the break. But before all that, before all the news, Peabody award-winning segment. Let's roll out to the Cave of Wonders and touch nothing but the lamp.
Yeah, we got a user submission.
Oh,
Listener submission. First
There we
one in a
go.
while. Thought it was pretty good. It's from Lawrence. Shout out to Lawrence. And it is, would you rather never be able to shop online again, but always find exactly what you're looking for in stores, as long as it like makes sense, right? Like you can't buy like a cake at a sporting goods store, but if you
Can't
go to a
buy-
sporting goods store, you find exactly what you want
Okay.
like instantly.
so I
right?
can't buy my dildos from the grocery store. I can still go to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
dildo
yeah.
store.
Exactly. Or still be allowed to shop online, but every purchase requires 20 minutes of going through CAPTCHA no robot puzzles.
Oh my god!
Every purchase.
Oh gosh.
But I'd have to go to the store now.
Yeah.
I hate going to the store. Go to the store, always find what you need, and can never shop online again. Or you can shop online, but you have to solve obnoxious captchas for every purchase. Huh.
Captions are like it's like a skill game.
Bro, I fail
almost.
half of them anyway, bro. Like,
I know, like, and they got these new ones too. They're like tricksy. They're like, which one doesn't belong? Pineapple, seahorse, or camel? And I'm
oh,
like,
I always failed
what?
that shit growing up. The
I
what?
mean, that's easy, Rob. It's a pineapple because the other two are animals. Like
I'm like,
Rob's a
what?
robot. We figured it out. Rob is actually AI.
Hold on, I'm taking notes. Say that again.
The ones where it's like, you know, click all the traffic lights, and I'm like, this is like an eighth of an inch of the traffic light. Does that count? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Always
those
fail.
always get me too.
Always fail those. Man, I think I just there's no way my attention span. Basically, so if I shop online, am I still allowed to also go to stores?
I believe the intent is that like you're only allowed to shop online. It's like a one or the other.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because then, like, obviously, yeah. So, uh, uh, but I hate going outside. I think I'm, you know, as obnoxious as the captions are, my utter but then I can't go to the store. How am I gonna get my Cubans? Can I get anything I want online?
Yeah. Just like you can get anything you want instantaneously at a store.
I mean, kinda, sorta.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, you got to go to the store, but when you get to the store,
There's magic
you
involved.
can find what you need instantly. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
Damn, that's
a
pretty,
magic store.
That's a pretty sick.
oh, that changes everything. I only half heard you.
Yeah. So it's like you don't go to like a magic store that gives you whatever you want. You have to go to a sporting goods store for sporting goods or the grocery
But
store
it's
for
there.
groceries. But you can find whatever you need, like easy peasy, instant.
That's actually a bit of a superpower. I think I would pick that. Actually. Now that you
Yeah.
say that,
Yeah.
now that you say
However,
that,
you can never online purchase again.
what about like online subscriptions that I have to like for like Netflix and shit?
That's not retail. It's not shopping.
Physical goods and services.
That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
shopping.
Okay. Can I call? Oh, but I can. Oh no, there's
Oh no.
some problems here. Like, but I guess I can. But I can go to a Sherwin Williams paint store and get my Monument Hobbies paints.
Or to a hobby store.
I mean, Arts random like Michaels carries them suddenly.
I mean, Jason has distribution.
No,
at a
I'm
bunch of
saying it's
stores.
like it's magic, right? So if I go to like a Michaels, which is crafts, arts, and they have like airbrushes and paints and paintbrush and stuff. Now suddenly,
I would say like
if I went there for Monument
the
Hobbies, Coal
delineation
Black,
is
it's
whether
there.
yes, the delineation is whether or not they stock also minis. Like
Well, I've seen Vallejo paint at fucking Michaels.
oh my god. I'm saying no because Michaels is like they don't sell Warhammer on the shelf.
Hobbytown.
There you go. Gotta go to Hobbytown instead.
Oh, see, that's smart because you'll always be able to get the units you need and shit.
Yeah.
Bro, oh, there's a bit of a superpower to this.
Yeah.
Damn, I
think
can't. I
so.
can't sleep on this. I have to pick. Never shop online again.
So I feel like I personally I have to pick the online version purely because you
Yeah.
can't go to an STL store and get STLs.
Not yet.
And well, not yet, but like currently, the
that's
only
coming
way for me to
soon.
get cool minis to print out and like stuff like that, like bits and
I mean, I can
everything,
still
it's
like
online.
trade you like a flash drive with STLs on it though. Like something like, hey, you want this flash drive? As long as you didn't solicit me for the flash drive, that's legal, probably.
Yeah,
right?
but where are you getting them? You can't
Mm.
shop online.
No, like, not me. Like your friends, your other friends.
Yeah, I guess you could, but I mean, like, we're assuming that the evil genie would know that you're gaming it.
You can't
and
solicit though,
Why does the genies always got to be evil?
because all genies always are evil.
No,
Yeah,
they're
dude.
not.
There has to be a checks and balances system to the wild imagination of man. Like, you can't give humans unchecked power, Rob.
Yeah, how many memes have you seen where it's like the genie's like, "There's only one rule," and then 2 seconds later, it's like, "There's two rules," because man breaks it.
Yeah, dude. What if like I found a genie and I wished for like an unlimited amount of money in a bank account? Like the economy would be destroyed.
No, my favorite one was like, "There's only three
You
rules."
couldn't
like,
spend it all that quick. You literally could not spend it all that quick.
but
Yeah,
but
if I had the money, I could destroy the economy, dude.
yeah. Yeah, I would. You just start donating it to.
Yeah, dude, it's unlimited money. So I'm not even like doing the billionaire thing of like buying stuff based on equity. I'm literally just like, how many dollars is it going to take for me to own this? And Disney would be like $52 billion. And I'd be like, cool, transferring now. I own this. Like free and clear. Banks are not involved.
Yeah.
Mm,
No,
mm.
like if you see that, this is my favorite one, Rob. Is like there's only like 3 rules, like no wishing for more wishes, no wishing to kill people, no wishing to make people fall in love with you. Classic genie shit. And that guy
Mhm.
goes, "I want, I want to be able to hear trees scream. I want them to have the ability to feel pain and auditorily express that pain." And the genie's like, "There are 4 rules now." Like, bro, you can't. Genie has to be strict.
Yeah, I guess it's probably good for the genie to protect ourselves from ourselves, but
All right. Well, thank you for the user submitted Would You Rather,
that was a good
Lawrence.
one.
That's a thought provoking Would You Rather. Now let's take a quick commercial break. Let's hear from one of our sponsors, and then we're going to come back and cover the news. And we're back. What you got, Rob?
I'm curious what that commercial sounds like. I'm sure it's riveting. I'll have to listen in tomorrow and see what it sounds like. Can't wait.
You're going to be surprised.
Is it AI Rob?
Mhm.
Tell me it's AI Rob.
Yep.
Do I sound sexy?
Oh, always.
Yes. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. So lots going on this week. Lots have happened. Lots is happening. We got a preview on Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Totally not for the new Harris Heresy box. It's probably for the new Horus Heresy box, which looks pretty good. But I don't know. I haven't seen a game of Horus Heresy, Plastic Horus Heresy, getting played probably since it came out last time. So I'm hoping that changes. A little, very hopeful for that. We did have some updates late last week and early this week. Well, I guess yesterday for Atomic Mass Games, Shatterpoint, and also Marvel Crisis Protocol. So they changed some crisis cards for MCP and a bunch of character cards, which are really nice because there was a lot of stuff that was kind of stagnant. This was good to see an update, and also Shatterpoint got its first major update. I would say I won't say only update, but first major update in 2 years, which is probably pretty good because there was some busted stuff. Surprised I didn't do it sooner, but yeah, better late than ever. So a lot of things are changing up right now. So everything's kind of really exciting. I know a lot of folks are very excited. So we talk a lot about the summer blockbuster thing with, whatever box set's coming out. And obviously it's going to be Heresy. I mean, June's going to be huge because you're going to have Space Wolves hitting at the beginning of the month. You're going to have the pre-orders hitting or it actually releasing on the 24th, I believe it is, for Horus Heresy. So they're about to go back to back on dope ass box sets, which is going to be great. But also, there's a lot of card game stuff coming out. Brand new Pokemon set. Um, Lorcana's got for Disney's got a set coming out, and also probably supposedly the best-selling set of cards from Magic the Gathering in all time, because according to the distribution, because the distros ordered 100% of everything, is Final Fantasy Magic cards, which is going to be they're already selling on the secondary market for like stupid.
And
And
I think the Gundam Assemble game comes
um,
out next month too.
I think it's July. I think it's the
Ju-
first week of July.
sometime in there.
And they just announced, I believe, the second set too for that. But a lot of stores have their pre-order deck or their pre-release, deck thing already, which is
Yeah,
really
they
cool.
got this really cool case,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Yo, Eric, how much for that?" He's like,
The
I
the
can't.
little
I'm
white
willing."
one.
No, no, no. It's like this plastic, like it looks like a military storage crate. That's
Oh, I
maybe
hadn't seen that.
like maybe 12 inches by 8 inches, something like that. And it's like painted. It's got like the Xeon stuff on it. Like it's supposed to be like an
Mm,
in-universe piece of thing. And I was like, I want it so bad. And I was like, how much? And he's like, I can't. We're not allowed to sell it. And I was like, now I want it even
mm.
more.
Yeah, you'll find it. Somebody will have it online. Of course, it'll probably be premium, but yeah. So it's like almost summer blockbuster season already for the hobby in general, like for hobby and collectibles. So that's super exciting for stores because I don't like to harp about it, but I do want to mention there's been a lot of allocations lately. I don't know if it matters as much for the World Eaters and the Thousand Suns boxes, but I know a lot of people really wanted the Death Guard stuff and weren't able to get it, which is unfortunate. But and I'm not sure whether that's Games Workshop not forecasting correctly, but you would figure after all of this money they've left on the table with Emperor's Children, with those two other battle forces I just named, there's pretty much unlimited Death Core boxes. So like I feel like at this point we know the Horse Heresy boxes are in warehouses because somebody supposedly smuggled them out. Let's be honest, this is all not really happening. Like if somebody was smuggling stuff out from a Games Workshop's warehouse and trying to sell it on Facebook Marketplace for $500 for those starter sets, they would track them down and Pinkerton them. It was obviously a plan. People aren't smuggling stuff out of the warehouses, or maybe they are, and they're just being careless about it. And it was all swept under the rug. But either way, they turned a minus into a positive, which is great. But I think they really this will be very telling on uh, their forecasting because they're either completely inept or Warhammer interest in Warhammer has exploded so much that it is just destroying their forecasting. Because remember, they're forecasting this stuff out 3 to 6 months. So like if they're like, oh crap, we really messed that up. We should have made more, and they actually put in for more for the next one, and then that one's getting allocated. What does that tell you? Like the demand is just ramping up, or the alternative is they're completely inept. And I don't want to believe that they're completely inept. I want to believe that the hobby is growing that much. What do you guys think?
I don't know, man. I really don't.
It feels like they're just making mistakes, honestly. I think it's probably something like you said. The hobby's growing at a pace, and their prediction models are outdated. Where we've always
Yeah.
joked about their secret spreadsheet that they have from the '90s. Like, I just think it's that. Like, this will be the hypest shit ever, and then it's not.
Mm-hmm.
This won't be that
Well,
hype, and then it is.
yeah. Honestly, too, dude, it's like unless you have some really, really solid information reporting from a large enough sample size, I think that like a lot of times for stores, whether or not they can get what they want is completely dependent on who their rep is. Because like some stores have a really good rep and they never have these issues. And then other stores have a really bad one and they have constant issues. And it's like, was the actual items themselves allocated and the store got fucked, or did the person like have a bad rep? They didn't do their
Oh,
job
oh no,
correctly.
the caps are store agnostic. Like the caps on Thousand Sun Battle Forces were six. It didn't matter how big or small you were, you got six. Like it does, like maybe.
We're past the days where they said six and only two showed up. Now they're actually giving you the six, but
Okay,
they're
so they're just
allocated.
saying you got six. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like how many do you want? We want 100. Okay, well you get six. Like
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one way is obviously uncool. The other way is just like this is what we got. And I don't think there's
yeah,
any emotions involved in that.
Right, but they're mismanaging these predictions, right? There shouldn't be
Yeah.
warehouses of new releases that they can't move.
It's also like, man, it's such a hard thing too,
whoa,
because like, um, if you don't know your community, like if your finger isn't really on the pulse for
hmm
these battle boxes and stuff, like the Death Guard battle box is like almost $300, and it's like that box is really only worth it to people who are like, ooh, I've been waiting to get into Death Guard for a little bit, and they got a hot new codex. I'm gonna buy this battle box, but like all the people who already have Death Guard collections, they're like, I already have enough Plague Marines, I already have enough Terminators, I already got 3 PBCs, 3 drones, 3 Myphitic Blight Haulers, and
hmm
more. And the only thing they really want is the character, in which case, like, they're not going to buy a $300 box for one dude unless they have a rare, sell it to a friend or something. Like, they're just going to get it on eBay. And so, like, you could get six because there's been chatter, hot new Death Guard. Then, like, none of the Death Guard players buy that box. And you're fucked.
yeah, that's true too. Like the forecasting, but I think the stores that were ordering those big quantities, they they really wanted that because they can move it, not because they're like, oh well, let me just take a gamble on it. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, a store's got to make money, and
I just remember in like
it's
when
tough.
they could do that, and it's
Mm,
like kind of completely dependent on the nose of the store owner, right? Because they're like, oh, new Black Templars released. This is going to be huge. Everybody loves Black Templars. They get like 15 boxes of the starter set. They sold two of them, and then they sat there for like 2 years. Nobody wanted that shit, at least in the anecdote that I'm talking about.
uh,
So it's like, it's such a weird, hard to predict market.
well, I think I think that's on the store owner at that point, because in this day and age, if you have any Games Workshop product and and sitting around, like, it's not hard to move that, because there's somebody somewhere. Like, you should be supplementing your stuff by selling it online.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, but I did something Kenny brought up that I just remembered. I had some screenshots which were really interesting, because it was the week before Emperor's Children came out. They put out the Mechanicum stuff for Heresy, and the like second wave of High Elves. And I have a screenshot of, like, the pre-orders page or the new releases page, and like this stuff had been out for a week already, and all of it was still in stock. Like the new Mechanicum tanks, the big Thanatar robot, the guys with the jump packs that they had never made before from Forge World. They made them first time in plastic. Well, first time as models in plastic. They're all in stock, right? But then you look
Yeah.
right above it, and all the Emperor's Children, like every unit, out of stock. Like
It's
this,
almost like they sold a boatload of Horus Heresy product because all of those units had dual rules for 40K.
uh
Like,
huh.
dude, if they had
Not
released
anymore.
like Thanatar robots and all that crazy shit for like AdMech players in 40K right
Exactly.
now, oh my god, they'd be printing money. But they're
Well,
like, nope,
yeah.
Horus Heresy only for this very niche faction in this like side game that nobody fucking plays. Of course they're not going to sell any.
Yeah, I think that was a big mistake, was taking a lot of Legion stuff and saying that you couldn't even play the Space Marines. That was just a
That's
license
so
to print money
so
too.
dumb. And like they're gonna release all this new stuff, and it's like, man, if I could have
Oh,
the
the Cybertron
Saturnine
or the
Terminators,
Saturn.
my
Yeah.
boys, and the new Dreadnought and all that, and I could play it in my Ultramarines, bro, I'd buy like 3 of those boxes. But I can't, so they don't exist to me. They're dead to me.
Yeah. That brings up KR Quinn brings up another point too. I've heard from a lot of store owners, like, they're trying to get like 60 to 100 copies of the mission decks, because they all got like 20 the last time around, and that was it. And they did a quick second print run, and they were gone, and nobody had them, and it was like impossible to get these cards. Um
Yeah,
so
hopefully they predict it right this time. That's what I was gonna say when we talk about the cards later.
mhm.
Is like, yo, order it, like get a pre-order in, dude. Don't wait.
Yeah, and it's
Hmm.
gonna be, I think that'll piss off the most amount of people, because like you said, if you're a Death Guard player, you're 50-50 on even if you want that Death Guard box. So, but I think as a whole, if the hobbyists in general can't even get the mission packs to play the match
That
play,
and that happened. That already happened once. So it's
yeah,
like
and that already happened once.
so.
So I hate to see that back to back. But moving on through the news real quick, I did want to mention that, so that preview's on Friday. Joy Toy. So if you're trying to get Joy Toys, obviously it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride ordering from overseas, but David Toys does have stock here in the States. So they're floating stuff over to fulfill it from the States. And if you order from them, anything that's in stock in the States obviously comes a lot quicker regardless. I still don't know what's going on with the Imperial Knight Joy Toy, because I got it on pre-order and I think it's supposed to be next month. Hopefully that isn't a problem, but we'll find out. As soon as I know, you'll know, because gotta have my walkers. You may remember the commission painting studio White Metal Games. They're actually right up here in Raleigh. I've known the owner for quite a number of years. Great guy. They announced this week on social media that they're back. They're doing well. Actually, they never technically left. He just kind of moved everything to the house after the pandemic, and still kind of did commissions for people that they were already kind of had established relationships with, and he kind of went back and got some degrees and stuff. But now they're opening it back up, kind of to the public type deal. So if you're looking for somebody here in the States that's reliable and definitely dependable, check it out over there. I think they even got a subscription uh, thing so you can block out and buy time slots to get your stuff painted, and send it in as you go. So that's pretty neat to see that something from the pandemic's kind of coming back on strong. I did want to mention about the court update. Now we were talking about it earlier on in the show that some um, YouTuber had talked about some sealed court documents. I don't particularly agree with that, to be honest with you. Things that are supposed to be sealed in Audi and hobbying companies. Uh, you know, it's a fine line to walk. But that being said, a lot of I think it's almost I want to say it's almost 2 dozen companies now that has had the suit dismissed against them for various reasons. Um, right after the show last week, they there was a video about a YouTuber. I think it was No Guts or Glory or something. I forget the name, but basically he was selling a magnet of the Warhammer mech from BattleTech, and they went after him for that. So obviously there wasn't a lot of oversight, like I was saying with this thing. They just kind of like let the AI bot go and they just went after everything because they weren't hobbyists, which well, we're seeing that now. But it's good to see that they've gone back and dismissed it against a lot of folks. I have heard in a lot of cases that people had to get representation, which isn't cheap. So in this type of cases, it's like $500 an hour for this sort of representation. So if it's just a quickie, like, hey, this needs to get dismissed, and here's why. But and then if you're gonna try to turn it into a thing, you're talking 3 to 10 grand right off the bat, and it can get pricey for a lot of companies. I feel like so that's not good to see. So hopefully everything can get resolved, and a lot of the companies out there that you might have seen the video might not have. But that being said, um, it's not exactly a lot of them that we can afford to lose in this hobby space. So uh,
Good to see that
definitely,
they're walking back some of the very logical walkbacks.
yes. Yeah, I think that was good on them. And that was Games Workshop. Remember, this is a separate outside legal IP firm out of Florida that took these actions. But then Games Workshop is coming in. Games Workshop HQ is coming in. Their legal team is coming in and like, hey,
Right.
these people
It was
dismissed.
a
These
it was
people
a it was a
dismissed.
carpet bomb, and then
Right.
now they're going through it with a fine tooth comb. Yeah,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
upsetting, and it's that no one people aren't getting out completely unscathed, but it's still good news in the grand scheme of things for some folks.
Yep. So that'll be hopefully good. But it's definitely a developing situation. There's new updates literally every day. I jump on there and uh, look at the documents and stuff just to see what's happening, and it's pretty interesting. So hopefully we all learn something from this one, include Games Workshop included, to be a little bit more precise with these type of enforcements, I suppose. But again, they do have to enforce this stuff. It is a necessary evil. So that's kind of all the big stuff that I'm tracking here. Just looking forward to the big preview on Friday.
So we've got to talk about two events.
Mm-hmm.
We've got LVO the double year, the double turn year.
Yeah.
Long War doubles tickets on sale for this October for the double year. Long War
Yeah,
doubles
dude.
double year. So definitely get in there.
The hot new mission packs.
We talked to Jake.
So-
Jake hooked us up, and we're good to go. We also have to talk about that the other event, the Green Banner event.
Yeah, the Cali Cup,
Oh yeah, Cali Cup.
which might end up being the largest Warhammer event ever held in California. It's getting there. So there's room for they still have room for expansion. They're still selling tickets. So if you haven't got a ticket yet, make sure to get one. It's going to be in Orange County. Really great venue.
Oh, they're changing venues.
Yeah, there's just nothing that really like suited it like in San Diego proper. So they're going to do it in
Yeah, there's a lot of convention centers.
Pomona.
Yeah,
Pomona
absolutely.
Fairgrounds.
Tight. Yeah.
Um,
That's the
so
one
it's
I
gonna
go
be
to
dope.
every year.
Yeah, like if you want to go to like a singles like 40K champs that is like perfectly run by cool dudes, has like really really fair and knowledgeable judges, and like honestly some of the best prize support of any tournaments I've ever been to in like the 20 years that I've played Warhammer, definitely go to the Green Banner events.
Yeah, there's a vibe for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about the leaks and everything, but before the commercial, what specifically did you want to talk about, Wyatt?
Space Wolf stuff. Yeah. So we're not going to go over everything because it's a lot. So if you're a Spaceballs fan, I mean, like probably seen this, or you're going to get the codex anyways. They have some new army rules, right? So Space Wolves have kind of stepped a little bit over a line into more of their own specific army compared to like the Blood Angels, where they're like, we're Space Marines with more detachments. So they do get Oath of Moment. They don't get the like the +1 to wound because they're like bespoke, but they have Curse of the Wolfen as a new army rule, and it's for Wolfen, and there's an alternate version of this rule on the data sheets for like the wolves, the actual wolves models, where if they're within 6 inches of one or more friendly Space Wolves character models, or within 12 of a Wolf Priest, they actually get OC.
Oh,
Um,
fuck yeah.
so you get add 1 to
Mhm.
the objective control characteristic of infantry models in it, and add 3 to the objective control characteristic of vehicle models. So that's like the Wolf and Dreadnoughts. And then they have the sagas, and so each detachment rule includes a saga you can complete with additional effects that apply once you have done so. And then it goes on to be like, this is what you can and can't take, et cetera, et cetera. So the detachment that I want to focus on is really cool. It's called Saga of the Beast Slayer. And their detachment rule that is on all the time, it says each time an Adeptus Astartes model from your army makes an attack, if that attack targets a character, monster, or vehicle, uh, or the wording on these is a little weird, so bear with me. So if that attack targets a character, monster, or vehicle unit, or if your saga is completed, that attack has the lethal hits ability. So the whole army just gets melee lethal hits against those 3 targets. And then the saga, if I understand this correctly, you have to like count the number of units in your opponent's army that have that keyword. So it's like if you have 12 units and like 3 of them have that keyword, then that's your target number is 3. And like it needs to be more than the number in your army, right? So like if I'm playing a Space Wolves army and I have like 3 of each dreadnought, that number is really high. And so like that would be bad.
Yeah, see,
Like
there's a
you want
theme to it, right? You're the
right.
hunter of that.
I'll read it. I'll read it because like the wording is very strange. So like you might have to read it a couple of times to really get it. So at the start of the first battle round, your Beast Slayer tally is 0. And you determine your Beast Slayer target by halving the number of units from your opponent's army that have 1 or more of the following keywords, rounding up: character, monster, vehicle. Each time an Adeptus Astartes unit from your army shoots or fights, after all of those attacks have been resolved, add 1 to your Beast Slayer tally for each enemy unit with 1 or more of the following keywords destroyed by those attacks. Once your Beast Slayer tally is equal to or greater than your Beast Slayer target, your saga is completed.
Okay, so that doesn't have anything to do with your army.
Yeah. I'm confused myself. There's like another thing about your own army
Yeah.
and one of the other detachments. So
And
it's like if the target number is 3, once you get 3, your saga
yeah,
is
and the reason it says equal to or more is because it tells you to round up because you're
yeah,
heavy.
yeah.
So yeah, no, that's
Mm.
a much cleaner way to do it. Like I'm with that.
Yeah,
That's
so
interesting.
it's a pretty interesting thing. So the cool thing about this is it has a lot of character synergies, and it has a lot of Wolfen synergies. So we're big fans of Wolfen around here. So one of the coolest enhancements is called Wolf Touch,
Mm.
where any Space Wolves model, you add 2 to the move characteristic, and in the declare battle formation step, the bear can be attached to a Wolfen or Wolfen with Storm Shields unit. So lots of cool synergies, right? You got 2 hot new characters with the Wolf Priest. He's kind of like a chaplain apothecary combo guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the Wolfguard battle leader, which is like their version of a captain. So both do interesting things for the Wolfen units. And as you can guess by the keywords, the Wolfen have been split into 2 data sheets. So you have Wolfen with regular weapons, Wolfen with hammers, storm shields.
Mhm.
Lots of really cool stratagems, like +1 to wound. Just it's a great stratagem.
One of the best.
Yep. Reactive moves, pretty cool. And then there's like they get like a blood surge move stratagem, if that makes sense. So it's for wolf and infantry or blood claws, like you play the stratagem when they're targeted, and then they basically get the blood surge move.
So they've got reactive, surge, and +1
Yep.
to access.
Mm-hmm.
Three amazing rule sets.
Thunderwolf Cavalry are also synergized in this. So until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a normal advanced fallback or charge, it can move through models, excluding Titanic, and sections of terrain features that are 4 inches or less in height.
Hell yeah.
So it lets you Kool-Aid Man with your Thunderwolf Cav.
Yeah, it lets
and
you
hop over to your
because they're like
models.
cavalry, right, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
let's
they're
them.
cavalry.
So basically granting them fly for models and bust through walls is a really great stratagem. And all of the stratagems in this attachment are only 1 CP. It's very cool. So as far as the rest of the stuff, you guys can find that, but like some cool changes. Logan is back with a hot new model. Looks absolutely phenomenal. He no longer has the go turn rule like he used to have, like the Space Wolf Wah turn kind of rule if he was on the field. Now he has 2 rules. The first one is High King of Fenris, which is a really good rule. Once per battle round, in your movement phase, you can select one friendly Space Wolves unit that is in strategic reserves. If you do, until the end of the phase, for the purpose of setting up that unit on the battlefield, treat the current battle round number as being 1 higher than it actually is.
That's
and
good.
then he has a 12-inch make stratagems cost more aura. So he has Vectora.
That's useful. Shit.
Yeah, dude.
Bro.
And he's a like any Space Marine character with 3 flat damage on their melee is super good. He's on a big old like 60 millimeter or larger base now. I can't tell if it's a 60 or an 80.
Definitely a big one.
He's got his two boys with him, his doggos. And he can attach to Wolfguard Terminator still, so that's kind of cool. Ulrich the Slayer is back. He's my boy. His rules are still similar. Bjorn the Fellhanded is back. Everybody was worried about Bjorn because he's an old dreadnought, but he's back. He got kind of a glow up, so he's got an invul save now. He lost the Vectora, but now you have that on Logan. And then what he does is if he's on the battlefield, you just get extra CP. You just get a CP, like Marnius Calgar.
I think he did that last time, didn't he?
No, so Bjorn did the aura of make stratagems cost more, and Logan Grimnar gave you like the go turn. So we don't have the Space Wolves go turn anymore. That doesn't exist. So now you've got Logan with the Vectora. Bjorn just grants you extra CP when he's on the field. And he is -1 to wound if the strength is higher than his toughness. So it just helps his overall survivability. He can still pick his gun, which is very useful on a character dreadnought like that. Ragnar, he had that last. He always had that. He just didn't have an invul save.
Yeah.
Ragnar is back, very similar. He has 2 rules now, where he does still get his like blender more attacks on the charge. So now if you attach him to Blood Claws, you get full wound rerolls for the unit. And then while he's leading Wolfguard Head Takers, he grants the unit advance and charge. So there's pros and cons to both, right? I don't want to go over like every single data sheet, but like Blood Claws already have advance and charge, and the Head Takers have kind of like I look at a unit at the top of the game and I say, I'm coming for you, dump truck, and like you get all these bonuses when attacking that unit.
So he fills the gaps in both.
Right.
Provides the rule that the other has.
The other wacky thing is that the Blood Claws and Grey Hunters are both like Power Armor Primaris units now, and they come in base units of 10. And Blood Claws are kind of like the what's the Black Templars unit that can go up to 20? What are they called?
The Initiate, the Novitiates or some shit?
Or
Neophytes. Neophytes.
Yeah, so like the Blood Claws, it's just like 10 or 20 assault intercessors, kind of. And then the head takers are kind of like their Blade Guard veterans, like similar kind of sort of. Um, they have some interesting things that they do. So you can, as part of their unit composition, buy the hunting wolves, and then when the battle starts, the hunting wolves like break off into their own separate unit, which has some cool pros and cons. Like you can screen with the wolves, you can like move the wolves off, and if they're next to a like within range of a character, they gain OC, which means they can do actions and different things like that. But you know, they've got the storm shield, they've got the weapons, um, and if you take them with the just weapons, they're like dual wieldings. They each get 6 attacks, and you can take them in a 3 or 6. And then if they have the storm shield, they still have 4 attacks. So they're very similar to Blade Guard like that. But if you want to just like really go hand with a billion attacks, you can. And their rule is the head takers. So you select a unit at the start of the battle round, or the start of the battle, and that head taker's unit gets devastating wounds and precision abilities while targeting the quarry.
It's a fun unit.
Yeah, and you can do it per unit of head takers. So if you
Mhm.
have 3 units of head takers, you can have 3 different quarries. But you have to like use tokens like unit 1 with target 1, because they don't cross over. It's like
Yeah.
my unit 1 gets target 1, and that's the only bonus they get. But again, you can start seeing some synergies pop up. Like if I attach Ragnar to this unit of dudes and they attack the quarry, Ragnar now has devastating wounds on his preposterous sword. You know?
Yeah, that is Blender.
Yeah, lots of really cool stuff. And then the Wolfen, one thing you're going to see with a number of weapons in this codex is they got granted anti-vehicle, anti-monster 3+. So like Arjak and something else, then like
Well,
the
this is the
Wolfen.
beast. This is the Beast Slayer detachment, right?
No, no,
So,
no.
oh,
Like
just in general,
this, yeah. So like the Thunder Hammers that Wolfen are equipped with
or
are
anti-vehicle.
anti-vehicle, anti-monster 3+. However, they are strength 5. So that's
Okay,
kind of how they balance. Like they only
yeah,
have 2 attacks
I see.
and they're strength 5. So like, could you do some things to make them really good at killing elite infantry as well, because they're strength 5 with like lance on the charge? Like sure, but they only have 2 attacks. Um, so that's why you have the 2 different data sheets. You have like the Wolfen with the axes, they're like blenders, they get more attacks, and they come base with uh sustain 1 on their things. And they have a different data sheet rule than the Wolfen with storm shields. So the regular Wolfen, they force you to like stay locked in combat. It's hard to fall back from them. And then the hammer dudes, um, you suppress a monster or vehicle that they attacked in the fight phase, and each time it makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll.
Do you remember Thunderhammers used to do that thing where they made your addition of 1? They
Yeah, they
remember that?
stun you.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the cool thing about this is because like you might be saying, "Oh, well, big guns never tire. If I shoot into combat, I'm -1 anyways." But this is until the start of the next turn. So even if that vehicle falls back and shoots, it's still -1 to its hit rolls.
yeah, for sure. No, it's like this. The era of 40K we live in is where units have roles, right? So like, this unit is very specific in its purpose, which is why there are 2 different units of Wolfen. There's 2 different data sheets. So I like that.
Yeah, and so handful of other changes. The other detachments are cool in their own way. Definitely want to check those out. They did lose quite a few things to Legends. There was like more epic heroes in the Space Wolves Codex than you know what to do with, and like most of those are straight up gone. Um, Things like you can no longer attach a character to Thunderwolves because there's no more Thunderwolf characters. Things like that. So like if you're a Space Wolves player, make sure to get the Codex, see what's still usable, what's not.
Fair. All right, let's take another break, and then let's cover the cards, the big changes
Mm.
that you need to be aware of going into the next season. And we're back. Let's talk about the new mission cards.
All right. So before we get into the actual secondary cards, in case you missed it, they announced the new mission deck. There's going to be multiple ways to play, and they're adding a new way to play called asymmetric warfare, which honestly
Big one.
seems kind of cool. It does seem kind of cool. It's definitely more of a I wouldn't say narrative because there isn't really a story, but it is more of a like thematic way to play the game with your buddies, where the attacker and defender have very weird asymmetric deployment zones. Like in this pincer attack one, they show like the one is like this like chevron shape, so there's like a void behind you, and like you have to be in this range band, and then there's like two little boxes on opposite corners for the other player. It's kind of crazy. Um, and the whole thing is that like the defenders like just get granted a bunch of points, and the attackers need to siphon those points away to win. So like the attacker doing their job steals points from the defender, and the defender doing their job keeps and hoards those points for themselves.
Neat.
So really cool. Then the secret system, which we've talked at length about, is being replaced. Woo!
Thank God.
Thank God, got replaced. And the new system is called the Challenger system. And the way these are going to work is, make sure I read it right. It's like, trying to find exactly where in the article it says like you have to be down by 6 points. So, yeah, need to be trailing by 6 victory points at the start of a battle round before you can draw a challenger card. Okay. And then the challenger cards do one of two things. So you pick up the card, and on the top of it, there's a stratagem, and on the bottom of it, there's a secondary mission. And you have to pick one of those that you're going to use. So the two that they show are actually kind of cool. It's called Force of Breach, and it just basically lets you pick one unit from your army, and they can Kool-Aid Man through terrain features. Very useful. And it's 0 CP. Or you take the mission, and one unit from your army that is not within your deployment zone and is wholly within 9 inches of one or more battlefield edges. You do an action, it completes immediately, you gain 3 points, right? So it's not like a mission that's going to be like, ho ho ho, I just scored 16 points in one turn. It's like I'm down by 6. I drew bunko secondary cards for this turn. At least I'm going to get 3, right? And you already have to be trailing. So as far as the catch up mechanic goes, that part's not that bad. However, you look at the stratagem and the other stratagem they show that lets you pick any one unit in your shooting or fight phase and give them reroll hits and wounds of 1 for free. It's a free CP. Or yeah, 0
Yeah,
CP.
so it's like a tier above. It's like it's the good
Yeah,
cards. It's the
so-
good cards, but you can't use the good cards unless you're down. But
The challenger missions are cool because they're not game breaking. It's like, let's say you and I are playing a game and you draw cards that let you do 4 and 4 on your first turn. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, tight. And then the cards that I draw are basically like 0-0, and I have to ditch one for a CP. Well, if I do a challenger mission, at least I'm gonna get a 3 to your 8.
Mhm.
And then I
Yeah.
have to like hope the deck is in my favor.
Yeah, I look
going
at
forward.
the way I visualize it in my head is it's like I've got common cards now, and now I have rare cards as well.
Sure, that's a great way to think of it. So as far as the missions go, people are pretty receptive to those so far. However, the stratagem aspect of it is kind of spooky because you're just like, well, now you're just granting something like reroll hits and wounds of 1 to a unit that may not have been balanced around having access to rerolls like that. So all of a sudden, that could be insane. Same thing with the move through walls sort of thing. It's like, well, you're trying to pre-measure all this stuff. Your opponent doesn't have that access in their detachment, and then it's like, oopsie poopsie, I picked this, and now I can just drive my land failure through a wall and like fuck you. So like that is definitely, I think, an avenue where a lot of feels bads are going to happen. So I mean, this is my personal opinion. You're free to disagree with me, but I feel like if we're going to play, what is supposed to be a fair, balanced, competitive game mode with Strike Force, that the free stratagems should just not be used in GT play. But they probably will, so just get used to them.
Yeah.
And then for the secondary cards, handful of little changes throughout. Some stuff got added to
Yeah.
the fixed list. For example, no prisoners got added to the fixed list. That's pretty cool. Some things change a little bit. Engage on all fronts is different now. Where like let's say you just draw it early and it's like, oh no, this sucks because like I don't want to like rush my whole army out into the open for a handful of points. Now you can just get like 1 or 2 points for having like 2 spaces or 3 spaces instead of all 4.
Instead of 3 and 4, you can do now. There's like a
Mhm.
2 and 3 version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Um, certain things also change. For example, overwhelming force got a little bit of change, where there's a designer's note on the card where let's say you have a unit of Space Marines with a character attached, and they start on an objective, but the character model is not on the objective, but you wipe out both. The character model does not count for overwhelming force.
Mm.
So there is a way for you to like tactically take a position, but also deny points to your opponent by meticulous model placement. What was the other one? Cole the Horde changed to a it's an infantry unit with a starting strength of 13 plus, and it also includes attached units now. So sometimes like you would be able to deny it based on attached units or not, and like it was 20. So now it's 13 and attached stuff counts. It's kind of cool.
Oh, I see. Because like 10. I see. That's a pretty good fix.
Yeah. The hated marked for death.
Can you repeat that, White?
And I draw marked for death. And I'm like, what do you mark? And he's like, say again.
Can you repeat that mark for death one again?
Okay, so marked for death has changed a little bit. Am I coming through clear now?
Yes, sir.
I got like a little notification from Zoom. Anyways, so it still functions the same. So if I'm playing Rob and I draw mark for death and I'm like, gross, what do you mark, dude? And he's like, these 3 units you'll never interact with.
Mhm.
Like,
Yep.
as predicted,
As
cool.
as is the way. Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
now I, as the card drawer, can be like, oh, so this unit that I can totally interact with, I'm going to choose that as my gamma target, and I get 2 points if I kill that. So 5 if you kill one of the marked targets, 2 for the gamma.
Makes sense because what they're doing is they're making more cards usable instead of cards you just throw away.
Yeah, I mean,
Because-
like, again, this is my personal opinion. I don't think cards like Marked for Death or this upcoming card should exist in the game because it's purely like a feels bad mechanic. Like, either you mark something I could never interact with or something very hard to do, or like you just don't have the
Mark
the
for Death
models
is
on
one of
the
those
table.
cards that's only clutch at the end when you're
Yeah.
like both out of models and you're in position, you draw it and you win. It's I
Yeah,
agree.
you're like ping.
A friend of mine brought up a really good point, and I'll echo that here. It's also our opinion that any kill unit type secondary should just be redrawn if you draw it on the first turn. Like you should just get a free redraw because getting like assassination on turn 1, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I can't redraw
Sweet.
this. Fuck. And then like you don't get the assassination points later in the game when you want them because it's like, whatever. So they have a couple of new cards. One is called Tempting Target. Your opponent must select one objective in no man's land to be your tempting target, and then your job is to go take that objective for 5 points. And so, kind of in the same vein as Marked for Death, it's going to have a lot of feels bads where, like, oh,
Yeah.
this objective
That
that you
one.
can't physically get to with your whole army, that one. Like, cool, man. Appreciate it. So, that type of stuff I don't think should exist at all, but now it does. So, get used to it. And then they have a new one, which I think is kind of cool. It's called Display of Might. And it focuses on you having more units in no man's land than your opponent. So sometimes this could be very useful. Sometimes you may not want it. However, like first turn, but you can redraw it. So it's one of those where it's like, oh yeah, I don't want to sacrifice my whole army for 4 points.
Well, it's swingy too because a lot of MSU stuff or horde type lists can be all up ons, whereas you're not gonna. Like if I'm playing Custodes and I'm going against Nids, I feel like that's
that card plays into some people's strategy and not others early in the game. So it's cool that it has a redraw mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
So for all the little tiny changes, you're gonna want to read the cards. You're gonna want to get used to them. There's some other stuff that we don't really have time to go over. They're very minor changes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think overall it's good, at least my take, because it seems like there isn't as much swing on the points, right?
Well,
Like,
the
it seems like
the change to to secret missions alone is huge. Like that's
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I mean, everything seems to be like kind of like in this grouping of like, you do this for this many points, you're gonna stay in that like 2 to 6. You're not gonna like spike,
Mhm.
some
Yeah,
some big.
Yeah. One of the changes to bring it down is it doesn't have like an uncapped thing per turn now. It's like a little bit different. Um, and then just to like get full clarification on the challenger cards, because they don't fully explain it in the article, you have to have the little pamphlet that comes in the box to know what they actually do. So I'll read that for you now so you can get the full picture. Um, so challenger cards, a player becomes the challenger if at the start of a battle round they have fewer victory points than your opponent, and the difference between their victory point totals is 6 or more. That player remains the challenger until the end of the battle round. While you are the challenger, draw one challenger card at the start of your command phase. Each challenger card presents one stratagem and one mission. You can complete the mission or you can use the card as a stratagem. You cannot do both. This is a big one. Note that both players use the same deck of challenger cards.
it's not, and it's also kind of indicates it's in addition to.
Yeah.
Like you drawing. It didn't say like you may. It's like the challenger draws from this deck, and it's like you get a challenger card.
Yeah, it's the challenger deck,
Bro.
right? And the challenger can swap positions between the both players.
That's
So
a whole
little
ass.
bit of a-
That's cool.
That's a big balancing factor compared to what we previously knew only from the article and talked about first. So
Mhm.
kind of neat. And here's another part about the challenger stuff. Rules cannot change the cost of the stratagem on a challenger card, and rules that generate command points cannot be triggered by the stratagem on a challenger card. At the end of your turn, if you have not used that stratagem or completed that mission, discard the card. If you use that stratagem or complete that mission, discard the card.
So you don't get to hold them.
Yeah, you don't get to hold on to them, and you might be saying like, "Whoa, what about the rule? I can't reduce something
can't
that's
vect 'em.
free." You can't vect them. That's a big thing. They're always going to be 0 CP.
Yeah, can't evict them. That's tight. That's actually gonna really change the feeling of the game for a little while. That's a great season mechanic.
It's definitely more dynamic. A little less like, oh, I can just do this like really dumb thing with a unit that is tailor built for putting my warlord on your home objective at the end
Yep.
of the game, secret win. Like less total feels bad than the secret system. More dynamism feels better.
Yeah, it's actually a season mechanic. It actually feels like a really clever way to make the game feel different. Like, well read. I love it. Anything else from the news? All right. Well, I think we covered it. Return back to the old days. Wyatt, you want to take us out of here?
Rob?
So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. For exclusive content, early access videos, and more, become a veteran of the Long War today.
All right, we're going to set up a couple of raids. Thank you guys for watching. To all our YouTube homies, we're about to raid off of Twitch, so you have a few moments to go over to Twitch. And let's see if our boys Barely Battle Ready are streaming.
they are on.
They are on. So if your hobby juices are still flowing and you want to see some 40K games being played right now after we're talking about all these missions, got your back.
Maybe
right
they're
here.
playing them.
Yeah, let's see what they're doing. Rolling in, battle ready. Let's see the title. World Eater Demonkins versus Custodes. It's still Pariah Nexus. Oh, it says
No.
Nexus. Yeah, Nexus Pariah GT pack. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but World Eaters. So
Yeah.
let's get
New.
that. Let's get that raid going. Let's bring the length, the girth, and the positivity of this platform on over to Barely Battle Ready. Say hi for us as we deploy these raids. Thank you, Imperious Seth, for the donation. Dead Nerve, Eamon, Kara Quinn, Jimmy Norris, Mateo, Just Folks. Thank you guys for the comments and keeping up with us. I've deployed my raid.
Get over
would
there,
look at
Warren.
Yeah, it's over there.